Good afternoon, everyone. This is Tony Harris Taylor,
And this is Jennifer Calendar.
and we are super excited to be here for another edition of Let's Talk Franchising. We're still trying to figure out the name. By the way, we want our name to have something to do with the theme, to have something to do with the road or race car or race to franchising. That might be good. So journey, something
Journey to
about
franchising.
a road. So
Yeah.
we're still coming up with it because we're not gonna settle. So for now, it's Let's Talk Franchising. Jennifer, how was your week?
Tony, we always start with kind of recapping our week, and I am still on a high from the International Franchise Association Conference in California. I don't know about you, but I still talk about those memories. I still, reach out to the folks that I met and collaborate with, which has brought us to, our guest today, but we'll get to that later. But
Well,
yeah,
can I
it's been,
share a win? Can I share a
yeah,
win?
share your win.
So
Sure.
I've been having one-to-ones. I'm the queen of one-to-ones.
Yes.
And so I had a one-to-one with a gentleman. Again, that lunch table was wonderful. Um, and so I had two great one-to-ones this week, but the one I want to talk about is with the gentleman in the UK. So
Wow.
he was there with a tax franchise. And so we had a one-to-one. It was wonderful. Got to introduce him to NIA, and he says, "We're going to put you on our list as preferred vendors, and we pay for the first
Oh,
year
how awesome
membership."
is that?
Well, how cool is that? And then he said, "I'm a part of the franchise association here in the UK, and becoming franchised in the UK is easy." He said, "And I want to help NIA to become a franchise in the UK." And I was
Wow.
like, wow.
So you know what, Tony? When you talk about global partners, you're well on your way.
I am
So
so
let me
well.
tell the audience about global partners. I met Tony 2, 3 months ago, perhaps, but it feels like we've known each other forever. We connected and just hit it off right at the start. And I found out she was with NIA, and me being a certified franchise consultant, network in action is in my portfolio. Tony convinced me, which is what I'm doing right now, to lead a group within Network in Action. I'm leading a group of franchisors who are looking to get support, referral for their business, and just have a common place of community for leadership and growth. So I'm really, really excited about that. So that is one other thing that stemmed from the IFA. The
Yep.
other part that, my huge win, you had a win, I still am reveling in my win, is promoting diversity within franchising. When we talk about that, I've been talking with major brands that are looking to foster more diversity and meet their diversity targets within franchising. And it's just been a great, great communication. So, one of my wins is I've gotten traction on one of the proposals that I've sent out. And one of the brands are actually starting the process to engage the J3 Collaborative for meeting some of their diversity targets. So I'm really, really excited about that.
I'm really excited about it too. And we're just on our second week out.
I
So
know. I know.
imagine what's going to happen as we continue to show up in more and more of these events. So, well, one of the highs from the conference was meeting the Thurstons,
Yes.
Carolyn and Charles Thurston.
Now, I had been in contact with Charles prior to the conference,
Okay.
and I met Carolyn and Charles at the conference, first time face to face meeting. Lovely couple.
Lovely couple. And I love the name of their business, Wisdom Senior Care. And today we're going to talk to them and learn about the wisdom of franchising. How did they come to be franchisees, franchisors, and now they're bringing on franchisees. And then also they're passionate about diversity. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Mr. Charles Thurston and Mrs. Carolyn Thurston. And I love that they love each other so much and they want to work together.
Love in business.
Welcome to our show, Carolyn and Charles. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. We're really excited. And we love both Jennifer and Tanya, your energy and your excitement. We too had a great time at the International Franchise Association. But that's just an example of how nice it is to get with a group of people on the same page. And we're just excited to you wanted us to come and be a part of your show today.
Well, thank you so much for coming on board. So tell us about Wisdom Senior Care and where you're located as well.
Yeah, Charles, you want to start off?
Okay, and Tony and Jennifer, thank you so much for just allowing us to share. And like you said, we're just honored. And you could say the fast track of franchising. I was listening in the background, coming up with something very, sanguine and quick.
I like that.
I know.
I'm gonna write that one down.
But we are located out of Durham, North Carolina. And Carolyn has a unique story, and I would love for her to share because I'm always in awe how that name came about. So, Carolyn?
Yeah, so Wisdom Senior Care, it started, and I always tell people it may date my age, but Wisdom, actually, the seed was planted in the 80s when I was in high school. And I went to my mother and told her that God had given me an ideal. And at that time, it was the concept of having a daycare for the senior population. I had an opportunity to travel in the military with my parents, and I saw a lot of different ways that cultures took care of their seniors. And what I saw was they loved them, they reverenced them, they cherished them. But sometimes in the United States, it's kind of like you reach a certain age and then it's like you're no more good. And that my concept in mind was that, hey, I would want my parents to live with me, but I'm going to have to work. So I'm going to have a place for them to be able to go. So that's where Wisdom came in. The thought was it would be a 24-hour daycare. Well, no, not 24-hour, just an 8 to 5. But someone brought back to my remembrance, well, now you just have a 24-hour type of system, right? But that was how Wisdom Senior Care got started. I have a background in nursing. And like most typical business owners, I want you to realize the seed was planted in the 80s, but because of what? Fear that I didn't know how to run a business, fear that I didn't have any type of background on business at all, but I had a passion, right? But it took me from the seed being planted till 2005 when I finally became brave enough to take the first step. So wisdom came alive in the natural in 2006. So February of 2006 is when we started on our journey.
And
Wonderful.
when did you start franchising?
Well, we didn't start franchising until 2016 is when we started the franchising journey.
And so that time between starting the business and franchising,
Mhm.
kind of talk about, what your thought process or what that journey was to get you to, aha, we should be franchising.
And that is such a great, and I love to share this story because it was never my intent to do franchising, never was in my thought process. The only thing that was in my mind was to help take care of our seniors. And I knew that seniors wanted to stay at home, right? So I knew how to attract those types of clients. And I was just loving the ideal of being able to meet that need. So in our Durham office, we were helping all of these clients be able to stay at home. And in North Carolina, the state requires you to take a 1-day class if you ever want to own or operate a home care company. And I was asked to teach one of those classes. And I became only one of 3 places in the state of North Carolina you could go. So it started helping me help other business owners. And I helped over 250 business owners just in the state of North Carolina get their businesses, home care, up and going. But Jennifer and Tanya, you know what I saw? That wasn't enough. They kept calling me saying, Carolyn, how do I do this? How do I do that? And Charles was having a fit because I love to share. And
Yeah.
so I'm just always on the phone and doing this and doing that. And then I started to get burnt out, like most typical business owners. We're wearing so many different hats. So I got to a pivotal point, and that's where a lot of business owners get. And I went to Charles and I said, Charles, I'm really at a point, and it really frightened me because I was starting to lose my passion. And I'm like, this is all I know. And he said, Carolyn, that's why it's good to have someone close to you, right? He said,
Yeah.
Carolyn, don't do anything. And we believe in God. And he said, let's just pray. We went to church, and this is how there's people around us all the time, and we have to just open up our eyes and be willing to see. I was so tired emotionally, physically, and I told Charles we had bought tickets to go to a Valentine's dinner. And I said, Charles, I don't think we can go. I'm too tired. We tried to give our tickets away. Nobody would take the tickets. So it was meant for us to be there. And this gentleman who was a business consultant with We Equip You, he actually sat next to us and he said, Carolyn, I want you to read this book. And he gave me this book, and it was called The E-Myth. And that book right there is how we came to franchising. And that has now revolutionized our whole life journey, or just kind of turned everything around. And I'll let Charles just tell you about that piece when we found that, how the next steps occurred.
Yeah, Charles, so you want to share that? Because that's amazing. That's an amazing story. You know, I heard the story this week with one of the clients, and I was sitting there in awe. So, Charles, you want to share?
Well, Jennifer and Tony, thank you so much. And here's what's so funny. The foundation really was started back in 06. And we know that God was preparing us and building that foundation.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, the business model, Carolyn has a unique business model. And we use that today, and all the franchisees do that as well. But like she said, we're the type, we've always been entrepreneur spirit. We work great together. And see, Carolyn's very modest. She is the CEO and the founder. I'm just the O, but I'm the behind the scenes guy and the networker.
Yeah.
But what was just so fun is that when we made that pivotal change, we knew we were ready. So that's why we're so excited by joining the IFA, also having that collaboration and their partnership working with Jennifer, because we know what it takes, number one, in home care. Not that we're bragging, because we've been doing it for 17 years. Yes. But if you follow a system, it works. And what's so exciting is with the business model we have, it's not going anywhere, because these clients need the service. Now we've taught that with our franchisees, and Jennifer was sharing about diversity, and we have diversity. Our first franchisees are Asian. They followed the system. They got to a very fast track. We also have to share. We also own a Nurse Aid 1 school. That school is 9 years old. It's a proprietary school. Now, it's not a franchise, but it's a educational support system for all the franchisees and helping our caregivers with their knowledge base and to grow within. So our third franchisee, she actually came through the ranks of the school, but always had a passion and a dream to be in their own business. And that was a Wisdom Senior Care franchisee. So it's exciting because we have that mix. We have even, when we look at our support staff, we've had basically every diverse background you can think of that has been part of Wisdom, if that makes sense.
Well, you are diversity. So
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Now, I am so impressed by the numbers, right? So when we look at the numbers for Wisdom Senior Care, the total investment is low. You're on the lower end of the investment,
Yeah. Mhm.
and the return is amazing.
Yes.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah. And if I can start off just talking about, and I do agree with you with people think about home care in the specific target market,
Mhm.
because there's a lot of different ways that you can develop a business, but knowing your target market is
That's
very
right.
key, right?
That's right.
And so with our model, we have a very specific target market, but the overhead is very low, as you stated.
Mhm.
So, but the return on your investment, first of all, is always about you being able to give back to your local community. And
Mhm.
that's what I'm passionate about, because not only are you helping your seniors in that community that you're locally in, but you're also creating employment, but not just employment, you're creating career ladder
Right.
growth opportunity in your local market. So the return on the investment is, of course, going to be personal, business wise as well. And I'll let Charles talk to you about the financial return on investments that people have an opportunity to actually get.
Yes. Okay. And so one thing that's exciting too is that with the numbers per se, when a new franchisee invests in Wisdom, we do share this, that if they have that goal, dream, desire to create $1 million,
Mhm.
be more or less within 1 year, we've already put the blueprint out there. And we've
That's a
done
fact.
it for years.
Wait. Say it again in case somebody didn't hear that. Say it again, please.
For the people in the back, say it again.
Okay, okay. Tony, you a master and gentlemen. But we created with the system a blueprint that any potential franchisee comes in and follows that system, they can make 1 million a year or more or less. It really is up to them, because we've done this time and time again. Because one thing I say is this: with our business model, see, we don't have just foot traffic, day-to-day foot traffic, because
Right.
it's personable. But once you have a client, you keep that client on an average between 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, they stay clients for life, right?
Yeah,
That's
till they
it.
go to heaven.
Guys, they stay as long as you're doing good work and the family loves you, they're going to.
You're there.
So, what I do best, Carolyn and Charles, is when you say something that resonates, I write down names of people, right? So, I'm going to do this the right way. But, Jennifer, I have a lead for you.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right. So that you can introduce them to Carolyn and
That's
Charles.
right. That's right.
So, first of all, I got to tell you, I'm getting the reason I'm looking off is I have a second screen. I'm getting comments over here. So, I want to share with you what I'm hearing. So, one of our NIA clients, his name is Dana,
Mhm.
in the health insurance market. Thanks, Dana, for showing up.
Mhm.
He says he's loving the story of Carolyn and Charles.
Mhm.
And he says about NIA in the UK, that's outstanding. And then he wants to meet you guys. And he says it's amazing how things align for
Yes.
people.
Oh, I
I
love it.
love these type of stories. They are so powerful. So thank you, Dana, for
Yes.
checking in. And I'm checking other comments as well. So if you see me looking off, I still am listening. Okay.
Yes. No, that's
So you haven't heard, I think, one thing that resonates with me with Wisdom Senior Care and the Thurstons is you sharing the core values.
yes. Yes.
So can you share with our audience the
Yes.
core values and what that means to you?
Yes. And I love this part because our core values are the foundation upon what everything has been built on. Our very first core value, we have 5 of them. And everything that we do, every business decision that we make, from our corporate entity as the franchisor, all the way to the direct caregiver and our end user, which is the consumer, is based around this. So faith is number one. And faith is used in so many different ways, but speaking to anyone who's looking at an opportunity to join an emerging franchisor brand, which Wisdom Senior Care is, of course, you're going to have faith in this system, that this system is going to be set up to help you reach whatever that goal is that you want to. But Charles told you that another one of our core values is commitment. And as a franchisor, we have a true commitment to help you make at least $1 million. Okay. Now, that's our commitment to you. But like Charles stated, if you only want to do $500,000, if you want to do more than that, that's great. But that's our commitment. Okay. The other thing is integrity. We are not perfect, believe me. And our system is growing. But one thing that our system will tell you is that we are very quick to be open to see where we need to change. Integrity is very important to us. So therefore, the people that join our family, they have to be able to have that transparency as well. Okay. So then the other one of our core values has to do with compassion. And we can't leave that out, right? Because no matter what, we deal with seniors, we deal with people in their homes, we deal with caregivers who have life situations that don't just happen once a year. It could be an everyday process. And believe me, even if you're not directly working with them, if you don't have compassion, it's going to show up. But as a franchisor, I believe that's what you'll see from our team, from Charles, myself, to all of our team members, from our brand standard department to our marketing department to everyone around. They have this compassion to understand where our franchisees are right now and to be able to meet that need. And our very last core value has to do with loyalty. And we believe that that's something that's earned. You don't just get that by, I just meet Tony now and think she's going to be loyal. That becomes a relationship that starts to be developed over a period of time. And then that loyalty will come in. So just to repeat, our 5 core values has to be with faith, compassion, commitment, integrity, and loyalty.
And if I can add to that, Jennifer and Tony, you know what's so exciting? Because I heard you say, Tony, about globally. We already have a team that's global on the back end.
That's our diversity piece.
Right.
That's
but
right.
the other part, the faith, and here's what's so neat. 40% of our franchisees, they follow the system within, let's say, 45 days from the time they open that door. We help them get clients. 2 of them got 24-hour clients from the beginning. Let's do some quick math right quick. Take 68 hours, 7 days a week. You can figure out the pay rates. Rates can run from $25 up to $35.
So wait before you go there. Are we talking rates? So the payment for the rates, is this insurance or is this, how does that work? So I want you to, I'm familiar with the brand. I want you to call that out, what this pay looks, where it's coming from.
Private pay.
Private pay.
Private pay.
That's right.
So you can look at over $4,000 a week coming in. You see how you can scale up your business?
That's right.
Now, we have metrics in place because you want to make sure you break even properly. Make sure that your expenses are being paid. But the serendipity of all this is after a period of time, then you can see franchisees are happy because now they're making money.
That's right.
As long as they're happy, we're happy. And see, and the beautiful part about the core values, it also starts from the top, but it also resonates at the bottom too. Because when Carolyn said about direct care, when our caregivers are out there working with the clients, we have a unique system that we use, but here's some of that faith integrity, because see, they have to engage with those clients, but they're also doing some things on the back end that we know that they're using those core values.
That's right. That's right.
That's what we like right there. And then the franchisees are doing the same thing.
So it resonates all the way through.
Yep.
Yes.
That's
yes.
awesome. That's awesome. So with that, I'm sorry, Tony. I love this brand.
I know
I'm working
you
very
love
hard
it.
to bring them to Atlanta. And so let's talk about, what does that ideal client look like for you? So when you talk about those core values,
Yes.
you know, you want to match that up with that
Mhm.
ideal. So what's your summary there on the ideal client?
Yeah, so our ideal franchisee that we would like to bring into our system is someone, first of all, who has a compassion for the senior population. They've always had a desire. Maybe they've been working in the industry, or maybe they have not. They don't have to be a registered nurse, they don't have to be a doctor. Hey, we have some of the best franchisees who they took care of a loved one. I think all of us can say that in some way, age doesn't discriminate. Having to take care of a loved one does not discriminate. So just that compassion, right? A compassion to make a difference in their local community, that's something that we look for as well. The other thing that we look for is some business acumen. Maybe they've held a business before. That would be great. Or maybe they've taken some classes. It's not a prerequisite. I really believe having a teachable spirit, a teachable and ability to follow a system. Okay. I think those are some of the key areas. Charles, you want to interject?
Sure, sure, sure. And also very good with organizational skills
Mm-hmm.
and people skills.
Yeah.
Because see, in this business, you're going to have all different types:
Yep.
clients, caregivers, skilled experts, and your strategic partners that you have to interact with. And so when you can at least adapt to those good skills, that's going to help you along the way, because the fear is always there, especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
That's right.
See, the other part is the differentiator with wisdom is that we
Mhm.
work with them and for them, really kind of like almost holding their hand, but teaching them the right way from the beginning. And you don't get
So
a lot of owners. Yes, Tony.
I got a couple of interjections here, comments. So Vic, who is
Mhm.
my
Love that.
number
Hi, Val.
Val is truly living this right now, that she's
Mhm.
taking care of her mom.
Oh.
And so, and you know, she's an entrepreneur
Mhm.
and it's difficult.
Yeah.
And so she's living that. And then Sandra is taking care of her 92-year-old father with Alzheimer's.
Yes.
And I know she has compassion because her mom just passed
Mm.
unexpectedly. And
Mhm.
so thank you all for making comments
Yeah.
and engaging with our video. But I can I interject here, because I know Jennifer loves y'all. Oh,
Sorry.
can I ask a question, please?
Sorry.
So, I do want to switch gears a little bit because this is very important. And
Mhm.
that is you, Carolyn, and Charles, not exactly sure what role you directly play, but you are on the diversity committee for IFA.
Yes.
And that is kind of in its infancy, I believe. And so tell us why that committee exists, and
Mhm.
then what role you guys are playing and what you want to see when it comes to diversity and franchising.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. I do want to mention as well that I am also on the International Franchise Association's board of directors.
Okay.
And okay, and then along with that, the International Franchise Association affinity group, which is out of the diversity part of the IFA, came the Black Franchise Leadership Council and its development. And I am the chair of that Richard Snow is I'm the vice chair, and Richard Snow is the chair. And it came up at a time, and this was way before all of this. You're hearing so much talk about the diversity in franchising, but it came up during a time of wanting to see more people of color have access and knowledge. And the big key about this was, and why it resonated with me and why Charles and I jumped on the bandwagon, is because that was part of my story. As we walked into the IFA, and how we found them was Charles knew that in order for us to do franchising, we were going to jump all the way in, but we needed to be educated. So he went online, he looked up and found the IFA. The first time we walked through those doors, we were like, wow, this is great. But you know what we did not see was a lot of people that looked like us. And so we were like, wow, as we're talking to people, and it was such great energy, and it didn't matter if we were in the same industry or not. People are willing to talk with you and share. And then I said to Charles, I said, well, why is it that we didn't know about this? People were saying that they were doing this out of high school. They were doing this out of block. And I'm like, wow, I'm just finding out about this now. So when the IFA decided to develop this Black Franchise Leadership Council, I was so excited to be a part. And one of our primary goals, and we're really achieving this, is to be able to bring awareness to diverse groups that franchising exists. Now, keep in mind, we're not saying franchising is for everyone, but everyone should have the opportunity to hear about it, right? Then they can make their decision whether or not this is for them or not. So as we have been doing, and we're going out and we're growing, and more people are joining onto this, we're seeing that more awareness is coming out, more people, diverse ways, single moms, women, all that is coming out and showing people and meeting them and saying, hey, maybe this is something I can look at, even starting back at the youngest people. Where can we start? So the HBCUs, now they're looking at pathways so that they can be made aware too, that, hey, even if I'm not going to be a franchisor or a franchisee, do you know you can still come and work within the franchising system? So it's about bringing awareness out there. And I hope that answers your question,
It
Tony.
absolutely does, because I never knew that franchising existed for me in the networking space.
Yes.
I love, I thought everything had to be built from scratch. And in fact, the person I'm going to connect you to, he's building, just now got his first client in his senior care business. And if he could be, a franchisee of you all, and I hope you're listening, because I just tagged him in the, if you could be a friend, it's community. It's alliance, it's support. You don't have to be alone. He had a hard time getting certified with the state.
You hear it all the time.
It's in so many minorities. I did my research because I actually was looking at starting my own business around minority franchise advocacy. And so there's only 8% of Black people in the franchise space. Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, Tony, what I was going to say was so exciting too is, number one, like Carolyn said, when we looked around, we were like, okay, so we were fine. We were okay because we can blend. We also building a legacy. Our two girls work for us. We're teaching and educating them about franchising, because see, other counterparts have been doing it for years. The other part that's so powerful is just like she said. Do you know, everything that we, for the grace of God, everything that we built came out of our own pocket. They didn't give us a loan. They said, who are you? We didn't get no loan. But praise God, we were able to go through that. We have 10 franchises, 8 and 2 corporate. But we're not stopping. And we know it's other people just like us that need that assistance and help. And the beautiful part about with the Black Franchise Leadership Council, you have a lot of resources there that give you that information to help you get started. I'm the actual marketing committee.
Yes. So they're a big part of getting that word. If I could stem off of what Charles stated about the financial piece, as we were starting to look at in our own story, what we found is that barriers. What are the barriers that prevent people of color? And I'm just using this as the particular what we're talking about today, from being able to get into the franchising space. So once you bring awareness to them, the next thing is the financial piece of it, right? And so that's what we found too, to be an obstacle that you have to find out. How do you, so what if, and this is what we love about the BFLC, is that we're able to now, we have a finance committee that is now looking at ways to develop pathways to help people of color, not to give anything. We're not asking anybody to give anything, but hey, what about this? If someone had told me back when I was in high school, remember when that seed was planted, and they started saying, okay, here's the pathway. This is where you want to go. So what if you start taking these steps, even with the financial, what it's going to take? What does that look like? That's already being planted. That when those type of things are being planted, you'll have more of a greater opportunity to walk into success than the other way around. So that's what we like about the BFLC, is that we have these committees, and these committees are people who are experts in the specific areas, and they're coming together and collaborating and seeing how we can truly, and we're not looking at just talking about things, we're looking at really making differences. So I'm a data person, so I like to see statistics, I like to see numbers, all these kind of things, to see, since we're starting, how many people have we reached, what's happening, you know what I'm saying? That way you can really see that you're impacting and making a difference.
And Tony and Jennifer, if I can add this right quick.
Sure.
When you look at Jennifer's her name there, certified franchise consultant.
Yes.
Carolyn, certified franchise executive. Charles, you see mine, CFE, certified franchise executive. One thing that the IFA has done is put this platform out here, and it's been out here for years, where we went through that process of becoming certified, because then you can really talk and teach and educate your franchisees, your suppliers, and your clients. Because I believe you can't talk the talk. Well, you can't walk the walk if you can't talk the talk. And one thing I love about it is you're always learning, always in that learning mode. And that's another good thing that they put there, to be able to educate, especially the minorities.
Yes.
Because once they get that piece and that knowledge, then they can take off.
And you're absolutely right. It becomes an aha moment, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Very
and congratulations to you and Charles on your recent graduation with your CFE. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was all this track for. I'm learning so much about franchising. It's crazy.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow, had this come into my life many, many years ago, many years ago, I probably would have not be talking to y'all, because I would have sold my franchise and be on.
Look, you and me too, Tony. But so we're late to the game, but it's not too late.
It's not too late. And we have a responsibility.
That's right.
This is why we do our show every week.
Right.
To sound the horn, and not just, we're not partial to Blacks. As you said, you're diverse. We're all diverse communities, but our community is late to every party. Dang it.
No, and that's key, what you're just saying right there. So it's a wake up and it's education, right? And like you both say, we're not late, we're right at the right time, right? So we had to come.
God's timing.
we had to go through all of that because we wouldn't be who we are now. And now we can better help our younger generation and put them into a place that they will be able to propel so much quicker to where God has for them than having to go through a lot of the same obstacles that most people have generation after generation.
And
right?
see, Tony and Jennifer, just to let you know, see, Carolyn, I'll be married, be 30 years come July the 25th.
Yay!
We're
Congratulations.
still babies. We got to be out on the beach, having fun,
That's right.
relaxing,
Yeah.
creating things,
Yes. Yeah.
Goals. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I
I
think
want
that's a great place to stop there. You guys have been amazing. That's such an inspirational story. And I hope that our audience, if you want to learn more about Wisdom Senior Care, don't hesitate to reach out to me, Jennifer Callender. I can definitely have that conversation with you. Wisdom Senior Care is a part of FranServe, and that's a part of my brokerage company. So definitely able to share that information with you. Tony, you want to share anything?
Yes, their information is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. So reach out to Carolyn and Charles. Actually, reach out to Jennifer first. So let me explain something because I'm learning. You want to go through your franchise consultant so that they can point you in the right direction. So if you're my contact, you can reach out to me for Jennifer's information. I'll put our information up in a minute. But also go through Jennifer first because her job is to steer you in the right direction.
Yes.
And then Charles and Carolyn partner with Jennifer to bring, because she's going to pre-screen and the people are usually ready to sign when they get to Carolyn and Charles. And so that's the direction. But just if you already own a senior care and you are thinking, just want to get some wisdom, we're going to come back to Jennifer. We ain't cutting Jennifer out of the process.
That's right.
They are very wise. I mean, and I love the name, right?
I know.
Y'all have any parting thoughts, Carolyn and Charles?
I thank you both for really doing this initiative and being consistent and committed to it. It's needed. Thank you for bringing real live education.
Yes. And just like to say, you guys are awesome. We're excited. Anytime we can be a blessing in your lives, let us know. We right now are in 4 different states. So we're
in Texas yet?
Well, we're coming there now.
Okay.
Because we actually we're in Georgia, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, of course, North Carolina, Virginia's open, and in New York. And
okay. Very good. Well, we will talk some more. I'm going to remove you guys from the stream. Please hang out in the background until we are done. So thank you again. We appreciate you. Just hold on one second. All right, Jennifer, another fabulous show.
How inspirational was that?
Yeah.
I just love the story. It just reminds me. I sit in this industry every day, but I love these stories because it reminds me of the different pathways to franchise business ownership. You can come to franchise business ownership as a transition from corporate. You already have your independent business and you want to convert. You're sitting, it's just a number of different pathways into this industry. And like Carolyn shared, you can even work in the home office of one of the brands as well. So I just revel at just the amazing, opportunities that franchising can have on not just our community, but the whole e-commerce all together. So I'm just excited about that.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you so much, and we're consistent. We are been 2 months at this, and just everybody, please share the videos that you see, share them in Facebook groups that you're a part of, and just make a little comment, said, I just listened to this wonderful story, and just share, because you never know. If we each by a person shares with others, you may change somebody's life just because you clicked a link. So thank
That's
you
right.
so much. And we appreciate you, and we'll see you next Saturday. This is
Yes,
Tony Harris Taylor saying take a drastic step today.
for a fantastic step tomorrow.
Yay.
Bye, everyone. See you next week.
Bye.